Hello and welcome to I Am with Eric Faria. I am your host, and today it is my pleasure to have here with me Nilcee Schneider, who is a Reiki Master as well as a meditation and wellness coach. Hi, Nilcee.
Hi, Eric.
Pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, and I have a lot of questions to ask you. But first, can you just tell our viewers and listeners a little bit about your story?
My story.
Yeah.
From scratch, from everywhere.
Yeah, just a little bit of your background. Mm-hmm.
Well, I was born and raised in Brazil. Mm-hmm. I'm of Japanese descent. My grandparents were both born in Japan, mm-hmm. Nagano and Hiroshima. Oops.
Yes.
And so my parents both were born in Brazil.
Nice.
And I'm a third-generation Japanese. Uh-huh. So I've been living in New York since 1986.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while.
I came like a little baby then.
Yes.
But so that's my story of how I was born in Brazil with Japanese ancestry and here in New York now.
Right. And when we talked the first time on the phone, you were mentioning how events in your life led to where you are now professionally, right? Specifically, the birth of your children.
Yes.
Right? So can you expand on that? Because I thought it was a very fascinating story and an important story to share.
Yes. I had my babies after trying for about 5 years of infertility treatment. And we were blessed with twins. But they were not only born premature, 7 months. They were colicky babies. So the first few months, it was very, very challenging. My mom came from Brazil to help us out. But my husband, my mom, and I could not, we could handle, but it was a very difficult task to have 2 crying babies, at early birth. And they were really, really struggling to, adjust in a new environment. And so when my mom went back to Brazil, I was mostly home by myself with the crying babies. So there were times when I thought that I was going to lost it. And there was one moment that both babies were crying at the same time. Usually they would take turns. One was crying, the other one would wait and watch. But this time, I can remember as if it were today, they were both crying, screaming, and I didn't know what to do. I couldn't hold both of them, and so I just looked out the window, and I looked at the sky. It was beautiful blue, and I just asked the universe, please send me a sign, help me, what do I do? So at that moment, I felt some kind of a wave of energy, and I felt so much peace in me. And with that moment, I just I felt something that was comforting in me. And then from afar, I could hear the sound of a plane from the distance. And then suddenly I go, oh my God. And then I looked at the babies. They were crying, and I went, shh. And they both stopped crying. They were like this. I said, shh, look, they're playing. And that got them to stop crying right away. And I'm like, it's working. So I'm like being a little bit crazy at the same time, like enjoying what was happening. And that worked. So that switch of being in the middle of a crisis and then being able to find that peace and the quiet, then I said, oh, it's working. So the next time, there were many, many other times, I was able to start applying that switch. And from then on, I felt that I had found something new that I had never encountered before with years of yoga, meditation, especially before having the babies.
Yeah.
But that moment I said, I think this is what it's really to find yourself, to find that focus and being present. And I think the babies felt the vibe
Right.
And so that's how I started doing that until I started using more and more. And I got the opportunity to bring my meditation to various places.
Yeah.
And I found that this is my passion and I want to continue doing it.
Wow. That is, well, first of all, going from having, babies that were crying and probably made you anxious, right? Because at times I would imagine, I'm not a parent, but if you have like crying babies at the same time, I would be anxious and wouldn't know what to do, at least initially. But going from that experience to actually finding inner peace in that moment and then getting a sign, right? When you asked for it, you received it. I'm just curious, how do you, in your day-to-day life, how does it apply when you are, say, when you are in the middle of, a very busy city, such as New York? There's noise all the time. There's a lot of people at all times, day or night, doesn't matter. And how do you find that place where you are just at peace with yourself and your surroundings?
So over the years, I've been thinking of ways to clear my mind and help others. I work with children and elderly people and all ages in general. How do I clear my mind, especially in the middle of a crowded train in the city, being late, and everybody's like pushing you, and you have to just control yourself not to become very upset. So what I learned was that moment that I looked at the sky, there was that blank, that blue sky. So I try to apply that now for myself, and I share with my groups to visualize a space, a gap. And it could be just a little piece of white paper with nothing written on it, no image, or just imagine a light right on top of your head, and then just focus your mind on that one light, that one point, that gap. And from then you breathe, inhale, exhale. The breathing does wonders. That's actually the way also that I felt when I was in the middle of the crisis, taking that deep breath.
Okay.
As you take a deep breath in and exhale the air, you cannot think. You don't think and you breathe at the same time. You cannot breathe and think. You have to stop to think, to breathe consciously, mindfully. And when you start breathing and concentrate your mind on the breathing, your mind is clear. So that's a mechanism that works very well. So being on the train with all these people around you, if you concentrate yourself in you, your mind focused, you could look at the sign in front of you, a letter, and just focus and breathe and not giving attention to what's happening around you. Then it's almost like you shield yourself with this energy around you that nothing happening around you will disturb that inner peace in you.
Right. That is fascinating. I had never thought of it that way. Thank you for that, really, because to me, even like doing something like meditation could be so hard at times because I wasn't able to be, I would think, in the right mindset to be able to experience that, meditation or relaxation. And it's like, it shouldn't be this hard. But I want to talk to you more about this. We're going to take a short break and we're going to be back after this because there's a lot more to talk about.
Sure.
So for everybody watching, I have a lot more to talk about with Nilcee, so stick around, we'll be right back. Oi pessoal, tudo bem? Aqui é o Eric Faria, espero que você esteja curtindo aí a entrevista. E hoje eu estou aqui para falar um pouquinho sobre comunicação com vocês. Parte do trabalho que eu faço como apresentador e produtor do I Am, tanto no podcast quanto no YouTube, é realmente a parte de me comunicar com as pessoas. Eu ouço histórias, eu gosto sempre de deixar uma gotinha, alguma coisa bem interessante para você aí que está assistindo poder colocar na prática na sua vida. E eu sou coach também, eu sou coach especializado em comunicação e sinergia já há quase 6 anos. Então, A gente muitas vezes não para pensar na nossa comunicação, tanto no trabalho quanto em casa, né, no ambiente, às vezes com os amigos. Como anda a sua comunicação? Parece que às vezes é muito difícil a gente chegar até o coração e a mente de uma outra pessoa, mas na verdade não é. Então eu estou aqui para falar com você hoje. Se você quiser ter uma nova perspectiva sobre comunicação para 2019, abrir novas portas, tanto pessoal quanto profissional, eu gostaria de trabalhar com você. Então vá até o meu website www.ericfaria.com. Lá tem as minhas redes sociais também, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube e o Twitter. E você pode entrar em contato comigo através de lá também. Então é isso, estou abrindo novas turmas, quero que você tenha uma melhor comunicação em 2019 e eu te espero lá, tá bom? Então até mais. And welcome back to I Am with Eric Faria. I am your host, and today, once again, I have here with me Nilcee Schneider. So we were talking about breathing, we were talking about being mindful and not letting the world around you bother you. So when you're giving a class or talking to other people, teaching them, what is the most important thing for somebody who perhaps is very anxious, very nervous, who stresses out over like even the small things? What do you say to these people? Because I can get like that sometimes. So
We all can.
asking for a friend.
If we are humans, we all get to that point. It's the emotions. So my understanding of any changes of emotions is caused by the way that we think. Our mind is so powerful, and it's trained to think one thought after the other. By us letting the mind control, oh, it's too hot, it's too cold, oh, I'm late, the train doesn't come, you're building up so much anxiety that your mind is going to affect your emotion. And then deeper in your spirit, in your soul, you will be affected, and then it's going to manifest on your body.
Yeah.
So I say the body, our body is formed by four bodies: the intellectual, the mind, body, soul, the spirit, your emotional body, and your physical body. The four bodies have to work together in sync. If one is not in sync with the other three, then you're not letting your energy flow smoothly. So somebody who's under a lot of stress, coming from work, and then they still have so much to take care of before the end of the day, their mind is still racing. So first thing is, from any situation, the breathing is the first thing that we should focus on. Deep breath in, and then exhale the air. So I say inhale 1, 2, 3, and then exhale the air 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, until you start calming your mind. By letting yourself breathe deeply, slowly, but deeply and mindfully, then you start bringing calm into your mind. Then your emotion starts to calm down, and then all of a sudden you feel that is already manifesting in your body. That's one way to calm yourself.
Right.
And then after that, of course, not letting your mind start thinking. Once you sit in the couch and you're feeling comfortable, but then if your mind starts thinking about the responsibilities for tomorrow, things that were left in the office undone, or bills to pay, so many things that build up anxiety, then we can't change anything while we are thinking. You will calm your mind first, and then once you are able to have that space, the gap in your mind, then your body is more in control. Then you can plan your day the next day with a calmer mind. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, of course you did. And just going back to the 4 types of bodies that we have, what are they again? The intellectual?
So it's the intellectual body, your emotional body, your heart, what you think, you feel, your spiritual body, and then the physical body. So 4 bodies in one.
So, for example, when I'm doing breathing exercise, right? Am I connecting all 4?
Definitely.
Okay.
Well, you start with your mind. Once you connect your mind, and then the other point of energy, your heart. And then it goes through your spirit, your soul. And then it completes with the rest of your body.
Wow. I never thought of it that way. No, it's fascinating. No? It makes sense. It does, yeah.
I learned from my master.
Okay.
Who I learned, I took the training in Reiki, and then said we are all formed with 4 bodies. And I think they all, they have to be connected. Otherwise,
something's going to feel smooth. A little off, right?
Right.
Yeah, if they're not all connected. That makes a lot of sense. And so you talked about Reiki. I have done Reiki, but just for myself, right? I am not like you. I can't do on other people. But I learned the techniques for myself. This was about almost, I want to say 10 years ago, like 9 years ago.
Oh, that's great.
And what was it, what did you get from it personally when you started learning about Reiki and the techniques?
The answers for everything.
Yeah, really?
Because Reiki, as you know, Reiki means universal life energy.
Yeah.
So Rei is universal.
Sure.
Ki is the energy, so is the energy that sustains us on this earth. Everything is energy. Energy inside us, around us, and we are part of this universe. So if you think about how the energy can affect a person's life, it's everything. So the energy that we have inside us, that's vibrating, and that's already affecting your surrounding as well as other people's energies, which are all connected. That's how we live this environment of wonderful experiences and not so great experiences, but is that mechanism of the energies vibrating in this wonderful universe. So I see Reiki in everything that I can possibly try to understand, to connect. There's energy in everything, in things that we say, the actions that we take, kindness. When you feel grateful, this all energy emanating. And so, Reiki has changed my life.
Wow. Once again, you're opening my eyes, and I never saw a Reiki like this before. It got me thinking as you were talking about, for example, we live in right now, like 2018, almost 2019, we have like a system, a political system, because I follow politics, that it seems to be very disjointed, and people are talking at each other. You have like opposing views, and there hasn't been really, I don't think, a person, at least that I know, that has been able to bridge the gap between, say, one side and the other side, right? And be like, actually, let's work together. And in terms of Reiki, and this is about specifically politics, but it can be applied to anything else in life, what do you think that we can do to apply those principles that you were talking about to somebody who, for example, doesn't share the same ideas that we do? Let's say in terms of how to raise a kid, for example.
That's a tough question. Relationship between two individuals. Well, I just was talking to a friend of mine, and this is what I heard. A smile is the shortest distance between two people. Right? You could be far away from someone on the other side of the street, but if that person smiles, you can see the smile and you can sense that energy, right? So you are exchanging that first contact, which is a smile. But once we start to get to know another person, of course our mind is anticipating, expecting, ready to...
Prejudging.
Exactly. So Unfortunately, we live in a world with a lot of distractions.
A lot.
You know, we have the news.
A lot of noise.
And if we could just focus ourselves into who we are deep inside, and really not to, ignore
Or
your surrounding, but
Shut it
to
out,
be able to separate your feelings from whatever's happening up here, which is going to affect your emotions, and then you're going to be hurt.
Right.
The person says something, doesn't agree with you.
Yeah.
Your political views are different.
Yeah, religious views,
Then
whatever it is.
your essence, who you are and that person's essence, are clashing.
Yeah.
More I could...
No, yeah. We're going to talk more in the next segment for sure, and I want to piggyback on that for sure. So just stay there. So for everybody watching, I have lots more questions to ask Nilcee, so stick with us. We'll be right back after this break. Oi pessoal, tudo bem? Aqui é o Eric Faria, espero que você esteja curtindo aí a entrevista. E hoje eu estou aqui para falar um pouquinho sobre comunicação com vocês. Parte do trabalho que eu faço como apresentador e produtor do I Am, tanto no podcast quanto no YouTube, é realmente a parte de me comunicar com as pessoas. Eu ouço histórias, eu gosto sempre de deixar uma gotinha, alguma coisa bem interessante para você aí que está assistindo poder colocar na prática na sua vida. E eu sou coach também, eu sou coach especializado em comunicação e sinergia já há quase 6 anos. Então, a gente muitas vezes não para pensar na nossa comunicação, tanto no trabalho quanto em casa, né, no ambiente, às vezes com os amigos. Como anda a sua comunicação? Parece que às vezes é muito difícil a gente chegar até o coração e a mente de uma outra pessoa, mas na verdade não é. Então eu estou aqui para falar com você hoje. Se você quiser ter uma nova perspectiva sobre comunicação para 2019, abrir novas portas, tanto pessoal quanto profissional, eu gostaria de trabalhar com você. Então vá até o meu website, www.ericfaria.com. Lá tem as minhas redes sociais também, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube e o Twitter. E você pode entrar em contato comigo através de lá também. Então é isso, estou abrindo novas turmas, quero que você tenha uma melhor comunicação em 2019 e eu te espero lá, tá bom? Então até mais. And welcome back to I Am with Eric Faria. I'm here once again with Nilcee Schneider. So I'm just going to jump right back in because we were talking about this and I mentioned specifically politics, but just a simple example just to finish. How do I see the humanity in another person that disagrees with me? Because a lot of the times I'm mindful of this. I know it, like at least cognitively, I know that I shouldn't be, I don't know what the word is, but I shouldn't shut down, basically, right, to the other person just because he or she disagreed with me. So how do I keep those lines of communication open with somebody using like the Reiki principles and the meditation principles and just the well-being that you teach your students? How do I keep that line open with somebody that doesn't see eye to eye with me?
Okay, if I may say, you cannot change the other person's views, her feelings, her emotions, his or her feelings or emotions. You can only change yourself.
Right.
So let's say you have this friend of yours who you start talking about politics or family, how to raise a child, how you view living in the city or outside the city. But each person has their own point of views,
their own compass,
mind.
Right, yeah.
But how I feel is that I need to start from myself to find the inner peace in me. So the concept of finding that meditative state is really to become who you truly are, the essence of who you are. When we are born, we come with only happiness. I mean, babies, when they're born, they only cry when they're hungry, when they are tired, or they need to be changed.
Right.
Otherwise, if they have a cold or something, babies cry in general. But there's nothing to worry about. They're not thinking about, is mommy cooking something that I like the next day? Children don't think. They live the moment.
They are.
So instead of us starting to anticipate that the friend of yours is not going to say what you want to hear, because that expectation of course, we expect the person to agree with you, in my case, to agree with me.
Yeah.
But if that doesn't happen, if I'm already racing, my mind is already expecting that person to start a conversation that's not going to be pleasing to my eyes, to my ears.
Yeah.
Then you start stirring your emotions.
Yes.
So that's why meditation, and not only sitting in lotus pose any time of day, being mindful is the answer, because you're calm, your mind is calm, your heart is at peace, your emotions are in control. So anything that comes to you, any word or any noise, anything that comes that could affect you, you are at peace, you're calm, you will hear, you're not going to jump into any conclusions or prejudge the other person. That's why being in this state of peace on the train, it's a great exercise.
Yeah, especially on
we
the train.
live in New York City. Yes, it's such a
Subway.
challenging city, but you can apply, and it's a great place to meditate, to live the moment and to live in the moment. When I say to my group, when you go to the mountains and you go for a getaway, you feel great, and then you're like, oh my God, I came back transformed.
Yeah.
But once you come back to the city, a day, 2 days later, everything comes back.
Comes back, exactly.
So you took all that baggage with you to the mountains and you brought back. The thing is to be able to be at peace all the time.
All the time,
Not only
anywhere you are.
just in the country, in the garden, but in the midst of crisis. That's how I learned from my new mom's experience.
That's amazing, because well, I feel like I need you as my personal life coach now.
For my pleasure.
Yes, and no, because I am just thinking, I did a trip last year to Ireland, and it's a very beautiful place. I went to a very small town in the southern tip of Ireland. You saw like all these green pastures, all the sheep. You didn't hear the noise from like civilization, which was great for a few days. And then I was so peaceful. I remember hiking, going, up these mountains and just walking and wanting to be outside, be with the nature.
Yes.
And then, as you mentioned, a few days later, after coming back, it all starts to come back. And it's difficult to be in the moment whenever you are, even if you're not in the mountains in Ireland hiking, And I love the approach that you have that makes it very much, it's a human approach. It's like, be peaceful, be okay where you are.
Right, but not based on the environment.
Exactly.
But coming from you.
Exactly.
You are peace, around you will be peace.
Exactly.
Not the other way around. That's how I view.
Yeah, because otherwise we would all have to live in in a monastery or something with Buddhist monks.
I bet that they have their moment of losing their patience, because everything's so peaceful there. Bring them to the city.
I know.
I wonder if they'll be that peaceful too. No, we have the advantage of living this world of a lot of technology that controls us, right? It's unavoidable. But if we can just disconnect from that technology, because it builds up anxiety, in my opinion. You cannot sit still, even if your phone is here. But if it's not ringing, you don't hear the sound that there's a text coming, and you want to make sure that you have the Wi-Fi on, and is that life?
No, and it's hard sometimes to disconnect. I know people who are addicted to their phones.
We all are.
Yeah.
I mean, including myself.
I would say so myself. I try not to, but it's hard sometimes.
It has become a part of our daily lives. And
just checking the phone to see if somebody sent a text message or something, right?
Right. Or just, I check the news all the time. But
Me too.
But I check for inspirational stories.
Okay, got it.
That's something in them, but I can't help it. And then I read things that I don't want to read, but I go, okay, what is going on? I'm going to read this.
Yes. So before we go, I know it went by very fast.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know.
I wanted to talk to you for another hour.
Yeah, I could talk to you for another hour as well. So is there anything like a piece of literature, music, art, a movie, something, a book that people can seek out that you would recommend that has inspired you, that you go back to from time to time for inspiration? Is there something that you would like to recommend to our viewers?
Not specifically a book, because there are a few books that I love.
Sure, sure.
But I wouldn't be able to tell you the author and the right title.
Yeah.
But I would like to suggest everyone to look for quotes. I'm a quote person.
Oh, for quotes, like inspirational quotes.
Inspirational quotes, whatever it is. Because that gives us a moment to think. Because whoever wrote those beautiful quotes, they were in that moment of realization.
Yes.
Once they came up with that moment of, the eureka moment, they wrote those words and like, I was there and I was able to put those thoughts and feelings into words.
Yes.
And they come up with some true, really true words that we can think about and say, really?
I know.
And this is one of my favorite quotes, if I
Go ahead,
may tell
please.
you.
What is it?
So, yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. That is why it's called a present. So, when did I hear that? When I was watching Kung Fu Panda. You remember that?
Yes, I remember.
And I liked it, and I quickly wrote, and then I went online looking for the quote, and it is so true. You cannot change yesterday.
No.
So don't look back.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is not here. Live in the moment. This is what's real. Whatever I'm saying, the words are becoming already past.
Yeah.
And so I'm enjoying the moment, seeing you, your smile, and hearing, all these beautiful sounds around us.
Yeah.
So to live in the moment, I think quotes would always be able to be helpful to anyone if you have that time to look for them.
This is perfect. I could not have ended on a more beautiful note. So thank you for being here. It was a pleasure to see you and to meet you for the first time, Nilcee. So.
I feel like I've known you for a longer time, and we spoke on the phone for a couple of times, but so great to be here.
I feel like in a deeper way we all do, right?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And for everybody watching, thank you. And we're going to be back next week with a new episode of I Am. I'll see you then.